Hello, and welcome to Learning Bytes by MyPubLab. Today, we are going to explore the exciting world of formatting. Okay, maybe formatting is not that exciting, but it is crucial to have an understanding of what formatting is and how important it is to a successful book. So when you're creating your manuscript, the most important thing is your formatting, because if it's not formatted properly when you get started, you are not going to get the look that you want on your book, and the look of your interior text in a print book is very important to a reader. You want to make sure that it's easy on the eyes, very understandable, easy to follow, and isn't jarring with crazy margins and spacing and things in it that don't give it a beautiful readability. So the visual appeal of the interior of a book is very important. The second most important thing about formatting is that this is going to translate the print outline and formatting of your book is going to translate into your ebook. And if you want it to look the same, if you want to keep that consistency, then you need to make sure that it's formatted properly to begin with. That, or you're going to be introducing yourself into a lot of time and headache if you do it yourself, or money hiring somebody to format your book properly. So we're just covering the basics in this episode today. So the very first and most important thing is this is where you will start when you first open. By the way, I am in Microsoft Word, and I do recommend creating your manuscripts in Microsoft Word just because it plays so well with others. And Microsoft Word is very user-friendly. It's easy to create your manuscripts and format in it and make changes, as well as the fact that if you are technically challenged, it is the simplest format to upload into a Kindle, and it will convert it perfectly. So as long as your manuscript is formatted correctly to begin with, then you are going to end up with a beautiful ebook that looks just like the print version. So let's jump right in. The first and most important thing that you need to do is, before you start typing anything, is decide on what the trim size of your book is going to be. The trim size is the actual size the book will be once it's printed. This page is an 8.5 by 11, and you'll see the rulers here and on the sides. If you don't see them on yours, you can just go to View, and in the pane here where you see Ruler, click it and your rulers will come on. So we're here in our home. 8.5 by 11 is fine if you're doing a workbook or a coloring book, a children's book. Anything of that type is fine in 8.5 by 11. But we're going to talk about other sizes today. So today we're going to go into the Page Layout tab. And here in the Page Setup pane, I'm going to choose Size. And I'm going to come down here to More Paper Sizes, because we're going to not create a letter. And you'll notice in the drop box, this is not the drop box, I'm sorry, this is not made for publishing. So instead what we're going to do is we're just going to go in here to our width, and we're going to make this a 6 by 9, and you'll notice that changes this to a custom size, which is great, because 6 by 9 is a standard chapter book. And that's what we're going to work with here. We'll cover trim sizes later. So none of this matters for us right now because we're not printing where the paper's coming from. You'll always have a little preview there, and it's just showing how the size will look. It is applying to the whole document, and we're just going to say OK. Now, notice we've gone down to 6 by 9, but we have these big margins here. That's way too much space. This is all the area that you would have for print in here. So now we need to change the margins. And yes, come down here to custom margins. Yes, when we were in paper, we could have clicked the margins, but I wanted you to see the changeover. So the default margin is 1. We're going to cut that in half because we've got a smaller book. So a 1/2 inch margin along your top, bottom, left, and right are going to be more than adequate. You can see that here on your preview on a 6 by 9. Now if we were going to do landscape, you can see it turns the page this way, so you would be able to see now it's 6 inches high and 9 inches wide, but we're going to work in a traditional book. The next thing we want to look at in margins is the gutter. So the gutter is the area where the page touches the binding. And we need to add a little extra space where that touches the binding because we don't want our words running down into the fold towards the binding where the book opens up. So a standard gutter margin is 0.125. And unless you're getting into like a 300-page book, this is going to work adequately for you. Even if you're using a full bleed, which we'll get into later in that explanation, which means it's going, whatever you're using, the imagery is coming off the edge of the pages. We're going to stick with the 0.125. That's standard. We're going to be in a portrait. Oh, right here, pages, multiple pages, very important. When we do a book, it's not just a single page. It is 2 pages. Pages facing each other, single page first. The mirror margins is going to ensure that that gutter is applied to where our spine is going to be on facing pages. All right, it's on a whole document, and we're going to say, okay. So now you'll see we have this lovely little margin here, lovely margin here. This, I'm going to change the size so we can actually see the whole page there. So take a look there so you can see the whole page. And so we've got our 6x9 and all of our margins are set up properly and we're just about ready to get started. So I hope that you've learned something and this will help you set up your initial formatting in your page. Again, I encourage you to use Microsoft Word and we hope you enjoyed this learning bite by MyPubLab. See you next time.